It's episode 1285, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
And Derek's not joining us today because he forgot we record on this day. He thought we recorded on a different day. So there you go.
In his defense, we did have a different holiday schedule, so I gotta defend Derek on that.
Yeah.
Real quick, during the holidays, can I mention something real quick? I know you mentioned this is the holiday schedule. People are still kind of getting back into the rhythm of life. And, one thing is, we're doing a lot of recreational things. And my family went bowling the other day. And I was thinking about bowling. Can we go somewhere real quick?
I have a question. It's full on mid-January. Why are you still doing holiday activities?
Just bear with me. They didn't start school back till like Monday, right?
Okay.
Either way, we're finding stuff to do. And I was thinking about bowling, right? Every once in a while when you go bowling, how often do you guys go bowling? I feel like the average American maybe like 2 or 3 times a year.
Wow, that is a high average. I was going to say once every 5 years.
2 times a decade?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I just
once
live
every
in
5
a more
years.
bowling-centric. I just live in a more bowling-centric community. I feel like every once in a while I find myself in a situation where people are like, yeah, we're going bowling. Or I ended up at like a bowling party. Or, there's nothing to do and you all go bowling,
My son's friend in 7th grade had a bowling party. Yes. I one time went on a date and late after dinner, there was like bowling. So we spontaneously went bowling. But twice in the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, we're really missing out because bowling alleys have come a long way. The Lucky Strike era. Yeah. It's not like the old bowling alleys where they were basically like the grown up version of a roller rink. A little musty, very sweaty. Even though it smelled like smoke, even though maybe no one was smoking at the time. I think the carpets at bowling alleys just naturally smelled like nicotine. Usually like weird, like painted characters on the walls that are sort of just ambiguous. Like, I don't really know what that character's from, but I feel like they're just trying to brand this place. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I know what you're talking. When I was in college, I was in a small town and their bowling alley was built either in the 60s or 70s, had never been updated. Not a single thing was updated.
It's like, there's some weird purple guy in a backwards hat is like their mascot, and you're like, let's just go with it. It doesn't really matter. It's not from anything. But either way, the bowling alleys have come a long way since then. And they're very fun. You guys should go more because, they got screens where you can watch games like behind the pins are now like movie screens. It's great. Whole experience, it's a good time. But I was thinking about bowling. I was kind of doing a thought experiment with a friend the other day about bowling, right? Because the last time I went bowling before this, I got 4 strikes in a row. Okay. And
so that's a turkey plus one, right?
A turkey plus one. And I'm someone who never goes bowling, right? I have no technique. I've never formally trained in bowling. But for those 4 bowls, right, I was as good as the best bowler on the planet. Okay. The number 1 bowler on the planet could not have done better than I did for 4 in a row. Right.
Sure.
Just bear with me here. Okay. Literally, I was the equivalent of the best bowler in the world.
Are you going to basically say what other sport could you be the best in the world for 40% of the game?
No, it's even better. Okay. You guys know my theory on total mastery. Give me 2 weeks, 2 months, and I feel like I could master many things that don't require.
But that was 90 days.
Yeah, 90. Well, I've cut it down to 2 months as I've gotten older. I've gotten better at things, but it doesn't require physicality that I don't have. So I won't become like the world's best sprinter. I just don't have fast twitch muscles for
but
that,
like the weird shooting competitions in the Olympics where like you cross country ski and have to shoot at something, things like that you could get that skill.
If I had 2 dedicated
archery.
2 dedicated months, I feel like I could compete at a level that was the best in the world. If that's all I'm doing, I just wake up in the morning and do it all day.
Right.
So knowing that a person like me who never bowls, and you guys too, I would argue if you got on a hot streak one afternoon at the Lucky Strike and those French fries are kicking in, because you got to get French fries at the bowling alley, the right amount of like grease on the fingers and courage coursing through your veins, you could hit 4 in a row. The best game you can possibly bowl is a 300, 11 strikes in a row. Okay. That's all you have to do is replicate that strike 11 times without missing. So here is my thought experiment for you. Okay. I also occasionally play golf, not frequently, but again, a couple times a year, and I've gotten pretty close on a par 3, which is about 150 yards, to getting a hole in one, right? Like I've never gotten a hole in one, but I've gotten a few feet from the pin. I'm very lucky. I'm not a consistent golfer, but here's the thought experiment, which again, it is equivalent to what the best golfer in the world could do. You are at play. There's no other sport. Like if you put me on a basketball court, baseball court, football field, I am not going to ever be able to play that sport at the level of the best in the world. If you get a hole in one, you get a strike. You're basically for that moment the number one player in the world. Okay, so here's a thought experiment for you guys. You get 1 month of time dedicated. All you do is train. At the end of the month, you get 4 days. Okay. During those 4 days, after this month of training, you either have to get a perfect game, so 8 strikes consecutively, or a hole in one on a standard par 3, which is about 150 yards. Okay. If you do it, you get $1 million. Which one are you taking? The 11 strikes in the row or one single hole in one? Remember, after the end of the month, you only get 4 days to make this happen.
Wait, hole in one on a par 3?
Yep.
And we get 4 days of unlimited attempts,
or you get the 11 strikes in a row.
One fluke shot out of 4 days of hitting shots, I think it would be easier than hitting 11 strikes consecutively.
But if you went to the bowling alley right now, I bet if we spent all afternoon at some point that day, your first day, you'd get 3 or 4 in a row.
That's what I'm leaning towards, the bowling, because I've done both, and I naturally, I guess, of the two would be better at bowling. So I feel like I could get there quicker and easier than golf.
11 perfect throws.
They don't have to be perfect. You just got to get strikes. That's the thing. You can have a pretty bad throw and still get a strike. I've been shocked sometimes.
Question, can I have the bumpers up?
No. This is you. I mean, because at that moment, you cannot play the game any better. Like I said, you are at the equivalent of the best bowler who's ever bowled in a bowling alley or a bowling tournament. You're a Wheaties box, okay? I've been thinking about this thought experiment a lot. I've gone back and forth. Sometimes I'm like you, Cameron. I'm like, what? I think I'd get lucky if bucket of ball after bucket of ball. But a hole in one, think about how small the hole is, okay? That's a really long way to knock it.
What's a par 3 though? Like 80 yards?
150 yards is standard.
150? Yeah,
that feels like a long distance. Yeah, I'm going bowling. And then I'll yell what was that bowler that went viral that was like, "Who do you think you are? I am." Yeah. That's what I'll do when I finally get 11 strikes. All right,
Emily's going bowling. Cameron, right now the $1 million is on the line. What are you taking?
I just don't think 11 in a row is as likely as a fluke shot with a good roll. I think I'll go the par 3.
Gone back and forth, and I've thought about this, as you can tell, quite a bit. I too have to go par 3. I think I would get in my head, but I do think.
I think once I'm on the 8, I'm going to be like, and I would.
But I would say this. I think I'm basically have equal degree of confidence in both outcomes. I think for either, I could do it.
Okay. I believe that you could too.
Good. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
I also feel like you just have
I could
the
be the
personality.
best bowler in the world if I really set my mind to it.
I love that that's your mindset for the 20 of like, yeah, I could be the best bowler in the world. I just don't want to. Or like I could be the best golfer. I just don't want to.
It's totally impractical for me to take a month off of my life and just spend
for
it
$1 million.
Well, again, it's not like someone has made me this offer. This is a thought experiment. This is still like if someone came to my house with a suitcase with $1 million. I could probably make the arrangement.
You're getting to the point of your life that you're starting to sound like Uncle Rico, where it's like, I could have, if the coach would have just put me in, I could have thrown it over the mountain, kind of a thing.
But here's the difference. Uncle Nico's living in the past. I'm living in the
No,
now.
He's living in a hypothetical past because he didn't get in the game, but he would have done this if the coach would have put me in.
I was never a bowler, Cameron. This is not me trying to self-aggrandize. This is a legitimate thought experiment about the capacity of discipline and the human struggle. There's a difference between me and Uncle Rico.
What about the Winter Olympics are coming up in a week or two? Like I'm like luging, bobsled. I'm just thinking like straight up, like give me a month to get good at that. And you're just flinging your body down a slide. I mean,
I've thought about this quite a bit too. And the only reasonable way to do that, there's no way you're going to make an American team. They're just not. There's too many people.
I have strong thighs.
Listen, there's too many people. There's too much money involved, right? Like there's too many
politics. Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, there's a lot of weird specialized sports leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you were to, because this happens from time to time, especially in like basketball, like a player will trace back some, great grandparent ancestry and somehow find a loophole to qualify to compete for some small country, usually like an Eastern European country or something. The only way it's happening, if your dream to be an Olympian is going to happen, you have to go back in the Strang family history and hopefully be able to qualify for.
The problem is where France, Luxembourg, and Scotland would be my options, and all of those they've got losers for days, So like,
it's not going to be. I'll tell you, it's not going to be loose right now, but I guarantee you, at Luxembourg. What's the population of Luxembourg?
Like 30,000 or something. Yeah,
it's basically
it's not a city-state. It's a country. But it's the size of the county my parents live in, Seminole County.
It's basically like playing for the village's intramural darts team.
It is.
Okay?
It actually is, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's your only shot, is to somehow be able to claim Luxembourgian citizenship, or at least have enough ancestry to qualify.
The Strangs, apparently, because my dad wrote a book about it, as you well know, the Strangs, if you go to a graveyard in Luxembourg, it's full of Strangs. We were very prominent in Luxembourg, and then they went to France and then the U.S., but like a lot of foothold in Luxembourg.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm just saying the Olympics aside, that's a whole nother conversation. And there's a lot of legal red tape that has to be addressed with Luxembourg. We want to get that paperwork started pretty soon, I would suggest.
I'm not as impressed with the Winter Olympics as I am, the Summer Olympics. Seems like you need more athleticism in the summer.
But this happened, this very scenario of just someone who didn't seem like they were an Olympic level athlete was able to qualify and compete. This happened like 2 years ago during the breakdancing thing, right? This is a plausible scenario, there's
no breakdancing scene to speak of in Australia. So this lady who had very little skill, made it. Yeah,
but a lot of heart. With you. But a lot of heart.
She jumped around like a kangaroo.
Hey,
that's how they dance in Australia.
I'm not going to disparage her. She's an Olympian and we're not. Okay, that's what matters. Bottom line is, I think I could bowl 11 strikes in a row if you give me a month. And if a listener wants to step up with $1 million, I will make some adjustments and rearrange some things in my life, to prove this. And it would be really inspiring for people, I think. I was with some friends in Cabo. I mentioned that in the last show, and one of the days all went golfing. And but when they were talking about golfing, they were talking about like handicaps and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
The guys were like scratch golfers. I mean, like literally like no handicap. Like these guys are almost pro level, and they were wanting me to come, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go. I haven't held a stick in 2 years. I'm not going to go and embarrass myself, first of all. But second of all, like good golfers don't want a bad golfer in the mix. Like good poker players
they usually don't care.
They do care. You slow you down. You're taking 7 shots. They took 3.
Cabo. You're not at Pebble Beach here.
No, they were super competitive, dude. I was like, no, I'm good. Like they handed out like medals to each. Like
yeah.
So I'm like, no, I sat by the pool. I was good. So
I don't mind going to hack it up every once. That's what I'm saying. Like once a year.
I'll go with other hackers. If we're just going to go hack it up, I'll go. But like not with scratch golfers who are super competitive. Like, no, thank you. It's not fun. Anyway, well, speaking of people that I was in Cabo with, our guest today, Chelsea Smith, she was actually there. Judah Smith was there. He's one of the highly competitive scratch golfers I was just referencing. Chelsea Smith joins us today. You know, a lot of people got engaged during the holidays. It's cuffing season for a lot of people. It's cold out. People are hibernating with their significant other, watching movies on the couch. A lot of people the single people are thinking, Valentine's is coming up. I gotta get something going. You know what I'm saying?
You can name names. Yeah.
We had some relationship questions for Chelsea. If you follow her on Instagram, every Monday she does a Marriage Monday thing, but she's been writing about relationships and she has some great advice for whatever stage of relationship you're in. Emily talked to her. That's coming up in Relevant Buzz. And at the end of the show, we have you guys sent in Ask the Cast questions. So we are going to tackle your life conundrums. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But after this break, stay tuned. It's Relevant Buzz. This episode is brought to you in part by 316 Financial, the official financial partner of Relevant. It's a big deal because it means Relevant has partnered with a bank that actually shares the same values and priorities as this community. Right now, 316 Financial is offering something just for Relevant listeners. If you open a new checking account by March 31st and set up direct deposits totaling $1,000 or more, you'll get $100. It's fully online, easy to set up, and available right now. Just go to bank316.com/relevant and use promo code RELEVANT2026. That's 316 Financial, Relevant's official financial partner. Again, go to bank316.com/relevant and use promo code RELEVANT2026. Banking services provided by 316 Financial, a division of Primis Bank, member FDIC. Okay, it's time for Relevant Buzz. Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, I've got a few updates. This week, Rolling Loud Music Festival, which is the world's largest hip hop music festival, announced their lineup for this year. It'll be in Orlando later in May. And for the second year in a row, they will be having a Christian hip hop set to kick off the final day on May 10th.
They did this last year in Miami. Who's performing at this one?
This one will have Caleb Gordon, 1K Few, What Up RG, Anike, Nathan Davis Jr., and Keon Boone.
You said 1K Few. That's good because we left him off of our Instagram post about this. So thank you for mentioning him.
Shout out 1K Few.
Caleb Gordon makes sense because he's from Orlando. So it's in Orlando. Mm-hmm. So that's good.
Easy commute. Yeah.
Are you guys, Cameron, are you going?
I don't need to go. It's the stadium is 2 miles from my house and I can hear it like it's in my backyard. So I can just sit out back and enjoy it. No. Yeah, maybe I'll go. It's in May. I mean, why not? Yeah. If any of you listeners are planning on going, you can crash with me. I'm literally 2 miles from the stadium. So
I would not put that out on the internet. People will take you up on that offer.
They don't know 2 miles in what direction. They're going to be knocking on other people's doors.
I mean, there's only so many houses. So
they've got months to figure it out. Yeah.
I mean, they get Tommy Lee Jones involved. They're like, I want you to check every hen house, outhouse, and just knock on every. Yeah.
It's basically the radius of Luxembourg. They got a pretty good chance of finding you.
Just follow all the cemeteries where all the strangs are. I'm right there. Yeah.
Morbid. Okay. All right. Anyway. Moving on. This week, Brandon Lake made his debut on Good Morning America, singing his song Heart for Hallelujah. And before that, he was doing a little, pre-performance interview with the hosts. And the other guest on the show today was Maury Povich, like Maury. And he made just a really good dad joke that I have to give him props for. Here's what he said.
Chase one song after the other and point people to a hope that's higher and point them to Jesus. And hey, me and Maury even got something in common. We both tell people who the Father is. I'm here to tell them who the Heavenly Father is. And
well done. I was like holding my breath when you first said that. Good answer.
I'm curious about the gestation of that joke. Maybe we could have Brandon on at some point. But At what point when he was invited to Good Morning America did he know Maury Povich was the other guest? Or how I like to think about it in my head is that he has been invited to be a part of Good Morning America, for like a window. And they're like, if you're coming through town, here's kind of the calendar. And he noticed that Maury Povich was coming on, and he scheduled it strategically to make that joke. I'm of kind of mixed minds about the joke itself. I appreciate that he went for it, but I was watching his face as he's doing. I could tell he couldn't wait to get it out. It wasn't spontaneous. We do know that.
It feels to me like a green room. Him and his band and his team were hanging out back there, and somebody in the room made the joke that Maury Povich is going to say something about or tell people who their father is, and somebody in the banter said it, and Brandon stole it. He stole it for the air. He's like, I'm going to say that. I think he's a joke stealer.
I cannot stress that was 45 seconds into the interview. Like he was waiting.
He's chomping at the bit.
Clearly. I mean, if you look at it, I encourage people to go watch this back and look at his face. Thanks for being here. Could wait to see the father was. Yes. He couldn't wait. It was, it was definitely premeditated.
And stolen. That's what I say. Brandon, you can come on and defend your joke telling abilities if you want to.
I'm still giving props for even trying. I appreciate a good dad joke, even if there are some critiques afterwards. Anyways, moving on. A new poll was released this week from Gallup that found that a record high 45% of U.S. adults identified as political independents in 2025, which is the highest level Gallup has ever recorded since it started tracking party identification in 1988. Now, if we look at specifically Gen Z and millennials, that number increases a lot. The majority of Gen Z and millennials, which is 56% of Gen Z, 54% of millennials, identify as independents, which is a lot more than just 4 in 10 of Gen X adults. So quite a big gap there.
What are the Republican Democrat breakdown of Gen Z and all that? Because it's like you're saying 54%, but it's like the others are literally like 20%. I mean, it's like a significantly more.
Yes. Yeah.
They're it's actually not like a little ahead. It's like the bulk of Gen Z and millennials are registered independents now, which is crazy.
So 56% of Gen Z is independent, 27% is Democrat, and 17% is Republican.
Okay, that's interesting because I've been hearing all this narrative that Gen Z was becoming more registered conservative party, and only 17% is registered Republican, meaning 83% is either independent or Democrat. That is very different than the narrative I've been hearing for the last couple of years. That's interesting.
And when you look at like the millennial one where there's 24% Democrat and 21% Republican, like they're a lot closer, right. Gen Z, which has like the wider gap.
The interesting, like I think this is interesting but unsurprising, is especially the element where it talks about the number that are independent, that haven't, don't have a party affiliation, I think is unsurprising. But at the same time, like, I don't know if it's indicative of anything meaningful when it comes to political change, because we still ultimately vote in a binary system where even there is no actual third party. Right. So like,
I hear you. But let me a little contrarian to that is I don't think it's necessarily that a candidate has to be a third party. I think it is screaming that the majority of the generations under what is millennial stops at 45 right now. Yeah. So 18 to 45 is screaming for somebody who's centrist, a third way. Even if you're a registered Republican or Democrat as a candidate, come to the middle, bring America together. Don't go to the extreme edges of your party. I think then you'll get the independent vote, which is the majority of younger voters. 18 to 45 is a massive voting block.
Yeah, I agree. I still think, again, more of a thought experiment. I said this before, but I still think like a ranked choice or it's just the binary system sometimes gets so discouraging because ultimately it comes down to a lot of people will vote for a lesser of two evil instead of the one that they think is the best,
Well, the problem is the primary system the extreme person gets usually the primary nomination, and the centrists get trampled in the primaries. And
exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. And then that's the other issue with voting, especially in closed primary states. If you are registered as an independent, you don't have a say in the primaries either. And so there's, again, like, I think it's interesting, certainly,
I will say,
but when it comes to like enacting meaningful political change, is it the most effective way? Because you withdraw your ability to vote in party primaries, you know?
I have a parent, I will not say which one, held the opposite party's registration for decades, specifically so that parent could go into the other party's primary and vote for bad candidates. So like a candidate that would get beat by the party they prefer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, literally, because I was like, as a kid coming up, I'm like, you're conservative. Why are you a registered Democrat? And they told me, so I could kind of mess with their elections. And I'm like, you're one person out of millions.
And that's just, but again, beyond that being like a bad faith approach to democracy.
I think it's hilarious. It's like a spite vote.
They're playing chess moves. I'll give them that.
But it's not smart. You know what I mean? Like but with this trend of registering, and full transparency, I've been a registered independent for a long time. Just
Me
because
too.
I don't,
since 2008.
Yeah. But I also recognize, like, I'm almost virtue signaling to myself rather than making a meaningful contribution to political change. Because, like you said, that's what is so challenging about a binary system, that it does end up rewarding the most extreme. It rewards polarization.
Right.
And so how do we get past that?
I think honestly, here's my gut. I agree with you. The system's flawed, but my gut is Gen Z and millennials came up on the most politically polarizing, partisan time in modern history, at least. I mean, I know the 60s were crazy. I know, there's a lot of, suffrage era is probably crazy, but I'm just saying it's very, very partisan right now. The extremes are the 14% most extreme on both sides are setting policy, right? And everybody in the middle hates it, right? And everybody's upset about it. And I think with the majority of millennials and Gen Z coming up saying, we aren't okay with this, there's finally going to be enough inertia toward moderate candidates being successful in the primaries. Whereas if you look at the stats, boomers, and even Gen X to a lesser degree, but boomers are the smallest in registered independents. They are the most partisan generation. So as they die off and millennials become the primary and Gen Z becomes the primary voting bloc, and if 50, 60% are saying we don't want the extremes, I think we'll see another type of candidate find success. Whereas in the old voting system, they couldn't find success. And so that's just my hope. And like, I don't care what the tag is. Just have policies that are good for the majority of America. Bring us together around things we can agree on. Come on.
Well, and even just like the basic civility. It's funny. I was watching with someone the other day it was the presidential debate between Obama and Mitt Romney from I don't know, 15 years ago now. And the debate opened with them basically just kind of gushing over each other.
Yeah.
Like, I really like, having the senator here. I also want to say it is his wedding anniversary. No matter what happens in the election today, 30 years is notable. Thank you for being like, just civility was so different in that era.
I remember seeing similar to that, what you just said, a debate where it was McCain and Obama. It was like a town hall style thing. And an audience member asked a question that's very disparaging against Obama. And McCain stopped him in their tracks, says, there's no place for that kind of discourse here.
Yeah.
And put the kibosh on the partisanship. And it was just like, he wanted to talk about policy and issues, not insults. And I saw a clip of that going around. I was just like, remember then? And I honestly think I'm encouraged by this study because it implies that maybe there's a hunger and a desire to get back to that. Yeah. And so
I will say, as like my first election I got to vote in was 2016. So like I have only ever voted in very, very partisan elections. And I remember like when I was voting in college, just like having this debate with my friends of we have to pick, like, even though we're not necessarily enamored by either of these candidates, but like picking the lesser of two evils and being frustrated with my friends who voted third party, because in my mind, I was like, well, we have to pick one. As I've gotten older and I've become more centrist independent, I also have a lot more like understanding and a willingness to vote, like not necessarily just within like the binary party system. Like I want more centrist candidates.
Well, I think I as a Bible believing Christian who is a citizen of America and votes, if you're a Bible believing Christian and you look at the platforms of both parties and you're pro-life, but you're holistically pro-life, it is very hard to say that one party or the other has a Christian platform. If you're a Bible believing Christian and listen to the words of Jesus and you believe again in life and human dignity, both parties are right and both parties are wrong. And we need to be honest about that. And it's like chew the meat and spit out the bones. I mean, there's no perfect party here. And so the idea of like the rise of the independents and the centrists who can kind of like, can we agree on these things? That to me is, again, what we should be advocating for as Christians. So,
well,
anyway.
Yeah. And beyond, I mean, not to soapbox here, but even the transcendence of faith over a political party, because ultimately a political party is in charge of policy, right? Like it even if you don't agree with, you know, people's personal moral decisions and what is permitted legally, it doesn't mean that system rewards or you know what I mean? Like it still comes down to how people individually want to choose to live their lives. That's what the gospel is. You know what I mean? The gospel isn't a playbook for what, you know, legal ramifications there should be for different economic systems. It's about, hey, if you treat everyone like this and take this, this is malleable to any system, you know?
Oh. All right. Moving on from that, I do want to get to my conversation with Chelsea Smith because we teased it at the beginning. I feel like this time of year, like we said, relationships is on a lot of people's minds. And so I did talk with her about lots of different stages. So whether you're happily in love or unhappily in love, wherever you're at, I've got some advice for you.
Unhappily in love?
Well, just maybe you're going through a tough season.
Yeah. And love is a choice, you know.
A choice. Love is a verb. I learned that from DC Talk.
Happiness is a poor metric for any sort of value, right? Happiness is a spectrum, right? Like it's different than joy.
We're all on the spectrum, we've learned recently.
Anyway, let's hear what Chelsea has to say.
She said, love is a verb. We're going to just play a DC Talk clip real quick. All right, go ahead. That's right. Sorry.
No, the first thing I did talk.
Who the father is.
No, we both tell people who the father is. That's what he said. Anyway.
First thing I talked with her about was just dating, kind of asking, what is good dating advice? And one of the things I asked her was, what is one thing, I'm ignoring that. What is one thing that a couple could do right now to, make sure that their relationship is in a good place and it continues to be in a good place? Here's what she had to say.
I just think the church is such a beautiful community, and I know it's flawed because it's people, but I know in churches all over this country are people who have been married for 30, 40, 50 years. And some of them may have a great marriage and some of them might have an okay marriage, but no matter what, they have wisdom to give. And I would love to see a generation of younger people who would want to take an older couple who they see out for coffee and say, tell us what you know about marriage. What have you learned? And just to start that dialogue to make the investment to research and go out for yourself.
Did she specify? Sorry, I'm just envisioning just random couples in the coffee shop that you just said, like, hey, can we sit down and ask you something? No, she's talking about like in church.
I'm unhappy.
Like,
yes.
And it mainly has to do with the two-party system.
My wife is in a different party than mine. Yeah,
has intentionally registered for the opposite political party in a misguided attempt to sabotage their primaries. I'm very unhappy about this.
Yeah.
Can you please buy me a latte?
Extra foam. Yeah.
Extra foam. I was told this is the right way to correct this issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on from that, we also talked about marriages, obviously. And the interesting thing, one of the things we talked about with giving marriage advice is she was like, there's obviously so many different factors into what makes a healthy marriage. Obviously depends on personality and background and just so many different things. But I did ask her, like, are there any, parameters or certain factors that should be in any marriage, regardless of kind of where you're both coming from? And she did say there are two things.
I think a good marriage is one that, first of all, this is Bible, but that really is built on mutual love and respect. That there is just a mutual commitment to a love and respect to have towards each other. And there's so many layers even in that answer of what is love and what is respect. But just to know that I chose you, I married you, and I didn't choose you or marry you with the anticipation and expectation that you were going to change. I chose you and married you knowing that you were flawed, knowing that I'm flawed, and that we're going to attempt to do this anyway. And I really do think a huge part of that is being okay with our own flaws and imperfections and with our spouse's flaws and imperfections. And if we're not happy with ourselves, if we're not content with who we are, how are we ever going to be happy with our marriage? So I think, and obviously for me, that goes back to Jesus, which is knowing how much he loves us and forgives us and accepts us. And so that has to be foundational.
It's good advice.
I've heard that before from Emerson Eggerichs. Wrote a book called Love and Respect. Great hang, that guy, by the way.
You know what? Every relationship I've ever had ended because had neither of those things. So,
Oh, Emily, what else we got?
Last thing I do want to end on, I did joke earlier about I have advice for people who are unhappily in love. And I generally do. I did ask her, like, it's not always fun or easy to be in a relationship with someone. And so I said, what's some advice you have for a couple who's walking through a difficult season? And here's what she had to say.
Seasons change. And by definition, they're seasonal, that it's not going to be this way forever. I think remembering this is a season, it's not going to last forever. By definition, seasons change. And for us as spouses, making sure that we have our own support system that is each other, but to recognize, okay, those things are going to come. And there are going to be seasons when it's a good season for me to step up and be there for my husband in a way that maybe I haven't been before, which might mean I'm probably going to need to get more from my friends in this season. I'm probably going to need to go to God and get a little bit more from him because I'm not going to get as much from my husband right now. And that's okay.
And if you happen to see an old couple at the coffee shop, just ask them.
Yeah. I ask elderly people at coffee shops any number of questions, usually related to bowling a perfect game. And
thought experiments. Yep.
Look at me, old man. Do you think I can do it? $1 million is on the line here, hypothetically.
Do I look like the best bowler in the world?
All I need to be is for about an hour. Yeah. I have to be the best just for about an hour. Okay. Old man.
Was Chelsea promoting anything? What I mean, I would tell people to obviously follow her on Instagram. She's great, but is there a book or anything she's got coming out?
She did put out a 52-week devotional guide called I Do, which she did intend for couples to go through together. And so it's just weekly devotionals that you can do to hopefully strengthen your marriage. If you can't find an old couple to talk to, I suggest getting the book.
Yeah.
It's awesome. All right. Chelsea Smith, everybody. Thanks. For Relevant Buzz, more stuff like that, head over to relevantmagazine.com every day. That's what we post. Thanks, everyone. All right, stay tuned. After this quick break, it'll be Slices. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Day One. If you're looking for a great new addition to your podcast rotation, Day One has been on the radio and now podcasting every week for 80 years. Hosted by Reverend Dr. Katie Gibbons-Keim, each Day One episode features a different preacher from across Christian traditions, from Westminster Abbey in London to the Luke Church in Humble, Texas. Find the Day One weekly podcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts, or visit day1.org. That's DAY, the number 1.org, day1.org. Sermons, interviews, and insights every week. I highly recommend. Okay, before we get to slices, I actually have a quick conversation that I want to share with you. This year, we are partnering with a Christian financial institution, a Christian bank called 316 Financial. They're a faith-based, mission-driven online bank who tithes back 10% of its profits to charitable causes and aims to align banking with personal values for purpose-driven financial growth. We have a content series going on right now called the Reset Series, kicking off the year, 6-part series that they're presenting. We have some other plans throughout the year of some really helpful content to get your financial life in order and to live generously and below your means and arm you with tools to be able to do that. 316 Financial, we love them as a company and as a partner. And I'm excited to share this quick conversation with you. We're joined by Paige Whitaker from 316 Financial, and Emily had a conversation. Here it is.
We are very excited to partner with 316 Financial this year. Can you tell our audience just a little bit about 316 Financial and what makes them different from your typical bank?
Sure. So we actually launched in 2025. We are a division of Primis Bank, which has been around for over 50 years. But we are solely digital. So we are a faith-based digital bank. Our CEO kind of noticed that there was a decline in charitable giving and tithing, but that Christianity as a whole continues to grow. And so he wanted to find a way that we could kind of marry resources. If, you choose what you listen to, what you watch on TV, who you hang out with, and based on your values, why can't banking be the same? And thus 316 Financial was born. So we are a faith-based digital bank, and we tithe 10% of our profits back to faith-based ministries as a way to be generous and to give back.
Can you tell me what sort of resources are available for someone to help them reach those financial goals and also to help them tithe and give back and give to charities?
So the number one thing that I've heard, I started here in June, is that people like about banking with us is that they feel more intentional, right? Sometimes you want to be generous and you're not in a situation that you can be, but by banking with us, we are being generous. So it's sort of an extension of you as well. And so you know that you're giving back as you bank with us. We do have 24/7 customer support. We have all the things that you would want, everyday banking, direct deposits, bill pay, all the things that you would need. But we also have free ATM access nationwide. When's the last time you actually went to a bank? We're not going often. It's just a different way of looking at banking. But like I said, we've got 24/7 care, customer support right here in the US. So if you have any questions or need anything, we also have super competitive rates. I encourage your audience to go in and look at what our interest rates are and compare them, because I think you'll see that we can help you earn more money than just where your money is sitting now, just by switching.
Like, what is your favorite, feature or offer or resource that 316 offers to customers?
So right now, we actually have a special one just for relevant listeners. So if you go to our website, we've got a page dedicated just for you guys. It's bank316.com/relevant. And if you open up a savings account by, I think it's the end of first quarter. So by March 31st, and you set up direct deposits totaling $1,000 or more by April 15th. So you've got time to do it. We'll give you $100 just literally for banking with us, and your money's going to grow. Your money's going to support causes that help spread God's word. So it's sort of just a win-win.
Yeah. Honestly, you kind of can't beat that. That's a really good deal. Well, thank you so much, Paige, for joining me. Like I said, we are so excited to partner with y'all this year. And we're really excited this month because we are kicking off partnership with our 6-week Reset series. And guys, we are releasing a new article every week. Make sure you check it out. And see what we've got in store this year with 316 Financial.
We are so excited to be the official financial partner of Relevant. So thank you for having me. I love listening to you guys. It means a lot.
That was Paige Whitaker from 316 Financial, bank316.com/relevant. Go check it out. All right. Stay tuned. Right after this, it's Slices. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Jesse?
All right, so big news in St. Louis this weekend. There's temporarily, this is big. a amnesty is being offered for any non-human primate owners. This is big, okay? They're legal to own within the state of St. Louis, monkeys, okay? You can't do it.
State of St. Louis?
The city of St. Louis. The city of St. Louis. Very strict ordinance, okay?
Got it.
But there's a problem. I don't know if you got heard about this. I'm sure you did. It was all over the national news. There were monkey sightings all over the city.
What?
Monkeys had escaped. They weren't big ones. They were
from the zoo?
They don't know the origin, and that's the problem. These weren't like chimpanzees, okay? No one's getting attacked here. I guess they could, but these are smallish monkeys. But they started showing up all over the city. No one knows where they came from. The police have been trying to apprehend them. They've caught 0 monkeys, but people are seeing them everywhere. And they are
now in the dead of winter. These poor monkeys are
resourceful. I think they could find a warm
They live in
place.
tropical rainforests.
Particularly these ones. These ones originate from Southeast Asia. But listen, they haven't found any monkey bodies either, so I think we're okay.
Do they know how many it is?
No, they think it's at least 4, but there could be. They don't know. They just know that all these monkeys were they got calls from around the city that monkeys they don't know, okay? And they started broadcasting hey, it's illegal to have monkeys. Where did these monkeys come from? That did not work. So they have a temporarily issued amnesty for anyone who owns monkeys right now. If they come forward, those monkeys will be humanely dedicated to a zoo or something, and you will not face fines or jail. They just want to know where these monkeys came from. But this is great. If I owned illegal monkeys, you know what I would do right now? And it's just been hanging over my head for these years. I watched that monkey documentary on HBO.
Yeah, the chimp lady
these people have to live double lives. Okay, this is my out clause. I don't want to be like the one where it turns on me. I would hightail it with my monkey in a U-Haul right into St. Louis and come up with that last scene in One Battle After the Other. I'm Benicio del Toro with the police cars and the sirens going, and I'm dancing down the highway with my hands behind the head, surrendering, knowing they issued me amnesty, even if I came from out of the city. This is my out clause. If you are a legal monkey owner, you need to get to St. Louis right now. There's temporary amnesty. This is a big deal.
If that chimp lady show is any indication, those crazy people do not. Those are children to them.
They're going to die with
your literal kids. They're not going to do it.
In all likelihood, they will. But I'm saying, if you're someone who needs to get out and it's well, I'm in too deep, man. What do I do? What do I do?
He got too big. He's got too big.
There's no out right now. There's no out. There's one city right now that is full amnesty. If you own an illegal monkey and you want to get out from this hell that you found yourself in, St. Louis is the option. I can only imagine monkey owners from all over the country are headed there right now. But,
if I'm being honest with you, there's probably a good portion of our listenership that are monkey owners. I wouldn't put it past them. So,
and they were like, man, they sounded fun, and it was for first couple weeks.
Yeah, Jesse was talking about Monkey Island near Tampa 10 years ago. So on a whim, because Jesse made a funny joke, I went and got a monkey. And now I'm in too deep. I love it.
Everyone thinks it's cute when the monkey's walking around in a diaper. You ever have to change a monkey diaper? It makes you change your mind real quick on monkey ownership. Okay.
All right. That's good. That's good PSA. What do you have, Emily?
There's a new Gen Z retirement home that has opened in Malaysia. And yes, I am correct in saying a Gen Z retirement home.
It's not just a resort or something. How's it a retirement home?
The owner, who also is Gen Z, started this, turned a resort into what he's calling a retirement home. You can stay there for as long as you want, a month or longer, however long you need. But he's calling it a retirement home because he's saying that Gen Z is just so burnt out that they need to be able to go somewhere and do absolutely nothing. There are no planned activities. You can wake up whenever you want, eat whenever you want. It is just this beautiful resort in Malaysia. And I think it's really funny that Gen Z is already thinking about retiring because, hate to break it to you, you just got started. So,
but isn't that just quiet quitting and stuff? Because when we posted this, it's a monthly, you can be there for a month at a time kind of a thing. So isn't this just a sabbatical or a long vacation? It's not retirement forever.
Yeah, but even it's temporary retirement. Yeah, I think that it's the concept. It's right. Like, take a break, unplug, think about this not as a vacation, but as a retirement. As, hey, you are checking out indefinitely. If you check back in, that's one thing. I think it's a good idea. Yeah. You know, where you have something looming over your head. Like, I'm retiring for a little while. Figure it out later. I like it. Good for them.
How much is it? It's like, it's super cheap, like $400 a month or something, right?
Yeah, it's $436 a month. So honestly, save up for, I don't know, a couple months, and you could take like a year or two off.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to be stuck at this one facility in Malaysia, but you know.
I mean, I will say the pictures looked beautiful. So
yeah, do it.
Unrelated, I will be taking 6 months off, guys.
Yeah.
Lots of monkeys over there. So anyway. All right. That'll do it for Slices. Those stories, I think one of those stories is at our site. You can go check it out. Actually, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. I know this is a shorter episode, but something came up, so we got to cut it short. We had some tech issues. You know, if you're listening to the show, go check us out on YouTube. If you're watching the show on YouTube, hit like and subscribe. You don't miss an episode. We got new episodes coming out every Tuesday. Make sure to follow Relevant on all the socials because we have a lot of stuff coming out in the next few weeks. We have our next digital issue. I mentioned a couple weeks ago, my interview show Unedited is coming soon. So make sure to stay in touch with us on social, all the best content we post on IG, TikTok, all the places, Facebook. Follow us, Relevant Magazine or Relevant everywhere you get your content. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. For the latest at the intersection of faith, life, and culture, make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com. And while there, click over to issue 117 of Relevant. The new digital issue is packed, and you can read it for free. If you want our enhanced magazine, as well as ad-free reading at the site and ad-free versions of our podcasts, sign up for Relevant Plus. Plans start as low as $2.50 a month, and it's the best way to experience our content. Find out more and sign up today at relevantmagazine.com.
At what point when he was invited to Good Morning America did he know Maury Povich was the other guest?
Relevant Podcast Network.